so terrorized by him. Whether he meant to do it or not, I'll never know. But he sure taught me that if you try to terrorize me again...
He was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis.
I think going to go to the Clive Davis party.
Yes.
It was a surreal event where Whitney's body was still in the hotel, and there was this sort of party where apparently half the room were in tears, the other half were kind of partying.
To have a party in a building where the person whose life he had influenced so enormously, and whose life had been affected by her, so they were like, I don't understand how that party.
Diddy, is basically breaking down from this whole situation with Davis, sugar daddy. I don't even think that they were sugar daddies, guys. I feel like the way Diddy is wailing right now in prison, no man in the fort can replace what Davis gave him from the backside. No man. This ain't even Thanksgiving, guys, and even if it was, none of those men could get Diddy stuffed like Clive Davis did.
Clive Davis is finally dead, like he should have been years ago, and his skeletons are already falling out the closet. The Lord seems to be working overtime to get rid of these industry demons, and the question everyone is asking is, who is next to go? Clive Davis spent 94, destroying so many people's lives, and the only person mourning him is Diddy. In fact, folks are even wondering why he got to live for so long, when most of the good people whom he destroyed died young. I'm talking about Whitney Houston, Phyllis Hyman, Left Eye, Aaliyah, and even Angie Stone. All these women died under very suspicious circumstances right after going against. And at some point, it went from looking like a coincidence to him flat out being linked to their deaths. And of course, this didn't end with him. According to Jaguar Wright, he trained Diddy to take over as the new him once he began getting old. Apparently, everything Diddy knows was taught to him by Clive. And yes, that allegedly includes the rumored human sacrifices and mistreatment of unsuspecting women. Now, one thing about he was a true businessman. He may not have been the best person out there, but he knew how to pick these artists and made a lot of money for himself while at it. He signed Pink Floyd, Sly and the Family Stone, Janis Joplin, Santana, Bruce Springsteen, Aerosmith, and Billy Joel. He revived Aretha Franklin's career, discovered Whitney Houston, and launched Alicia Keys, Jennifer Hudson, and Maroon 5. In the mid-90s, he partnered with Diddy to create Bad Boy Records, which also created other big artists like Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Diddy himself. In the late 80s, he helped L.A. Reid and Babyface to form LaFace Records, which became home to even more big artists like TLC, Usher, Outkast, Toni Braxton, and Pink. This man was getting to that bag, but unfortunately, that wasn't the only thing he was doing. He trained Diddy to continue that nasty legacy as soon as he realized his health was beginning to fail him. You see, after Diddy's arrest and indictment, a lot of people also called for Clive to be investigated because they believed he was one of the many powers behind the scenes that kept him protected for that long. In fact, Suge Knight, who is currently in prison, went out of his way to give an interview, accusing Russell Simmons and Andre Harrell of using their powerful positions to mistreat vulnerable people and shape Diddy into who he became. According to Suge, allegedly had a humiliation ritual called the egg test that basically involved inserting a whole egg in the back hole of any male artist he wanted to sign. If the egg went in effortlessly, it meant the person had been run through enough by his associates, and because of that, they qualified to be signed. If it didn't, they would continue allegedly essaying them till it did. And according to him, this was done to Diddy. And that's why Diddy learned to do this to other people once he got powerful too. Those guys pull their pants down and bend over. They stick the egg up their hole. Their eggs break. They say they're not ready yet. They ain't put enough work in. This is Hollywood. You know, hurt people hurt people. Someone was essayed. They wind up being a perpetrator. Now, as expected, Davis's spokesperson hit back immediately, calling it a completely fabricated story by a felon, but no one was buying it. But this was just the beginning. Jaguar Wright also stepped into the chat and had a lot to say. Her most infamous one was when she appeared on Piers Morgan Uncensored in October 2024 and accused of being Diddy's greatest teacher.
He was selected to be the demon that he is to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to for all of its precious jewels. We have too many laws selected for this job. It's been going on before Diddy. See, people keep looking at him like he's the Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making Diddies. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further, the mentors of these people. Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically. And Davis has been his greatest teacher.
The reason these allegations went mega viral on social media wasn't just because it was coming from Jaguar. It was also because this wasn't the first time Clive had been accused of this. She and Suge Knight were two of many people to say these same things. Everyone cannot be telling the same lie. In fact, it's also been linked to the death of Whitney Houston. And even though this sounds crazy when you first hear it, everything begins to add up once you hear the details. So as we all know, Whitney died on February 11th, 2012, in her bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. But what most people don't know is that it happened the night before Davis's annual pre-Grammy Gala, which he went ahead and hosted anyway, even after Whitney's death. Her cause of death was concluded to be accidental drowning, with substance use. But people have had their doubts for years, especially after it was made public that still had the party in that same hotel even after Whitney died, with her dead body still in the building.
Whitney, I don't believe that she would have said, the show must go on. She was the kind of woman that was stop everything. I'm not going to be there. You know, I don't know what could motivate a person to have a party in a building where the person whose life he had influenced so enormously and whose life had been affected by her. So they were like, I don't understand how that party went from Miami at about 5:30. As soon as I hit the tarmac, I found out, I heard, and I couldn't put on makeup, I couldn't get dressed, I couldn't do anything. I was paralyzed.
Oh, but it gets worse. So, do y'all remember Phyllis Hyman and how her career suddenly ended after exposing Clive Davis for all kinds of crazy things? Things got tense between them while she was signed to Clive's infamous label, Arista Records. Apparently, he had a vision for her to be a pop star, but Phyllis didn't like how he was going about things.
It was taught me to never be afraid because I was so terrorized by him. Whether he meant to do it or not, I'll never know. But he sure taught me that if you try to terrorize me again, well, we can't say that on public radio. What I may do to someone who tries to hurt me again in this business, I'm not having it. I should be respected as I respect, and I will not have someone try to ruin my spirit and ruin my career. If his plan was to destroy my career, it didn't work.
Now, this interview right here was the real eye-opener for a lot of people to look deeper into her death, with some people saying things like, again, I feel she didn't off herself. Someone else set her up. Someone else said, his demise will reflect how sinister his nature is, and he'll suffer in detestable sorrow before he dies. Girl, someone better go tell sis that her wish was granted. Anyway, going back to Phyllis and Clive's relationship, it got even worse when he signed Whitney Houston. But as we can see now, things didn't end well for Whitney either. According to people close to her, also blocked her from pursuing Broadway opportunities she desperately wanted, demanding she focus on recording instead. Phyllis later took her own life, and according to reports, she left a note talking about being exhausted and fed up with the industry. And of course, people have their own thoughts as to whether she really took her own life or it was snatched from her by the name she was actively fighting up until her last breath. And then there is also Left Eye, who a lot of people still believe was taken out by Clive after Diddy allegedly snitched on her to Clive about her plans to go public about everything she knows about him. You see, Despite TLC selling millions of copies of their album Crazy Sexy Cool in the mid-90s, the group felt they were being severely underpaid. T-Boz recalled the moment she and bandmates Chili and Left Eye stormed into Arista Records, demanding money they believed the label owed them. According to her, when they stormed into Clive's office, he was in a meeting with Diddy, but that didn't stop them, especially Lisa, from still tearing that place apart. Things got so heated that the police were literally called. TLC eventually filed for bankruptcy despite being one of the best-selling music acts in the world. TLC was signed to LaFace Records, the black-owned label by Arista Records. Their contract was structured so that everything from music videos to travel, food, and styling was recoupable, meaning owed back to the label as a loan. A lot of people believe Lisa was taken out. She was the most hot-headed one out of the bunch, and as I said earlier, it's also believed only found out about her plan because Diddy snitched. In fact, T-Boz seemingly confirmed this herself during an interview with Monique.
TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million, and they gave us $50,000 a piece. So I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader.
Like, we need to go get our money. I need to know where my MF and money's at.
So, you know, she was locked up in the diversion center for burning down the house. He was the getaway car. So we went up there and held everybody hostage, and Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, yo, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo. And I was like, oh, Puff, why you gonna snitch us out, dog? But he called it, yeah, because we kicked him out of the meeting.
Well, wait a minute. Puffy, mind your damn business.
But here's the thing about all this. Even before went on to create his own labels and destroy even more lives and careers, the signs were already there. And if someone had stopped in earlier, things wouldn't have gone this far. You see, back in 1973, he was fired from Columbia Records after the feds found out he had connections to a substance distribution investigation they were working on. Apparently, a Columbia Records executive named David Winshaw, who everyone called Clive's lapdog, was involved. And this led to also being incriminated. David's actual job was moving artists around, but it turns out that was just a cover job. His real job was to provide substances and women as entertainment at industry events. And when the bills came in for all that, they'd cook the books with fake invoices from shell companies to hide what was actually being spent. When the FBI raided David's office, they found memos linking expenses back to Davis himself. CBS panicked, called in, fired him in a 2-minute meeting, and sued him for $94,000 in personal expenses, including apartment renovations and a Beverly Hills rental. Clive pleaded guilty to one minor tax charge, paid a $10,000 fine, and was somehow back running Arista Records within a year. If this doesn't sound like a replica of Diddy, then I don't know what is. So of course it makes sense that Diddy is the only one affected by his death. Apparently, he broke down in prison after the news hit about Clive's death. Everyone has the nastiest things to say about Clive's death, as they should. Like this person who said, "May hell not be what he was hoping. Freaking parasite." Another person said, "May he rot in hell. In Jesus' name." This man K-worded our Whitney Houston. She continued with the party while Whitney's body was in the building. Satan better welcome this demonic bit. Moreover, he was friendly with Diddy. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about dying after destroying so many lives? And do you think people are justified in trolling his death instead of being sad about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.